So today's topic we're going to cover up agave. We're going to talk about agave. Agave, you can say, one of the one of the sweet fruit grown in Mexico, and with that there are many spirit produced. Like we all know, most of us know the product like tequila, but apart from tequila, there's many other spirit produced in Mexico. One of the good example, or you can say another product which coming really nice in the world is mezcal. Mezcal is the new trend. Mezcal is the new trend in the world, which is going to overtake the whole tequila market very soon. And the best example I can say, Jack Han. Jack Han is doing really good job in the Asian market, and he taking the whole agave industry on another level. Jack Han, whenever I still remember when I met first time Jack Han, he's the one who impressed me with his cocktail, and I'm like, wow, you can play around so nicely with product like mezcal and tequila. Tequila, we can use anything to make margarita. Even a cheap tequila can make a good margarita, but how many good tequilas in the market, or how many crafted tequilas in the market used to sip neat on the rocks, just a slice of orange? How many we can check out? So this is all we're going to talk. So today, very soon, my very good friend Michael Fairweather going to join me, and he going to share his experience about how his career started in this entire agave journey. In the Bangkok bartending scene, or you can say Thailand bartending scene, Michael is known as Mike, and a very good thing about the Mike is that he not used to be a professional bartender. He used to be a cop in New Jersey Police Department, and now he is one of the well-known tequila lover in the Southeast Asia. He worked under the company called Bootleggers. Bootleggers are very known for their crafted product portfolio, and they have some really nice agaves products like tequila, mezcal, and they're getting many more really soon. So this is all Michael is going to share with us. Also, he's going to share with us what all he learned and how actually he started his journey. So let me try to reach Michael. That where is he, Michael? Okay, we're still waiting for the Michael. Wow, Philip is here. Hey Philip, what's up? Philip, and oh, tequila, sure. Just waiting for Mike to join, and we're going to have tequila flowing. Hopefully, he have a lot of tequila in his stock, and mezcal too. I saw he has some really nice tequila, like the first crafted batch of tequilas. Michael going to be live soon. So, hey Carl, how's the things in the Goa? You still need to give me Fanny. So Michael is running a bit late, just maybe hardly 2 to 3 minutes. He's going to be with us online, and then we're going to talk about agave. Just a basic thing, basic introduction about agave. Agave is the sweet fruit, as I say, found in Mexico. So if you're talking about the agave spirit you can only made in Mexico. If you take the agave fruit from Mexico to any other part of the world, and you try to make any agave spirit, you can make it, but they're not called the native Mexican spirits like tequila. Tequila, we all know tequila need at least a 51% of blue agave fruit, and rest all can be mixed anything. Even some of the tequila brand, they mix sugarcane because it's cheap and easily available in the whole Mexico. Now the other side, the mezcal, what we know, mezcal, you can take any ratio of the agave and mix and match. Even you can use the wild agave to make your own mezcal. Mezcal is very smoky because, as I just mentioned, you also use the wild agave, and wild agave have a little bit of smokiness in it. They age all the spirits for like tequila and the mezcal. They age from range from 6 months to 11 months, 1 year, 11 months, 3 year, and more than that. And this all, as per that, the labeling of tequila depend. So like labeling, like we know blanco, reposado, anejo, extra anejo, these all few labels on tequila and mezcal we can see. The agave spirits are basically made in Mexico, because agave is the fruit we get in only in the Mexico in the world, and the fruit itself is very sweet, and that's because this sweetness is the main reason we get so many different kind of spirits with one plant. And they have different kind of agave plants in the Mexico. They have around 200 different type of species of agave plant in the all Mexico. And the main variety what we need to make tequila is blue agave, which is 51%, mezcal any ratio, and then the third category of agave spirits come is raichila, which is very a little bit of local, not available in the Thailand right now or in Southeast Asia, just a few parts, not everywhere. Then we have bacanora and we have sotol. So this is few spirit we get in the with the agave itself. Now, just talk about the how you can say how this thing we use the commercial production. The tequila and the mezcal production is have few different variation. One is commercial, one is non-commercial. You can say crafted. So when they do the crafted kind of agave production, they do very limited production first thing, and they use 100% blue agave for the tequila, and mezcal they use again any variation. I think Mike is on the way. Oh, we have Shah over here. What's up, Shah? What's up, Shah? Not see you long time. You're still in Bangkok? No, you are not in Bangkok, Shah. You're always roaming around the whole Southeast Asia. The whole Southeast Asia is your home.
Okay, bro. I am sorry. Yeah, I'm going to explain to you really quick. So, for 25 years, I was a police officer. And during that time, I worked in internal affairs. Basically, I went after the dirty police officers. So, one of the things was I would never be on social media. So, when Facebook started, I wouldn't get on it because I didn't want to get caught up doing or saying something wrong that might end up causing me some issue. So, I am probably the most inept person in social media. I'm just starting to understand Facebook, which I've only been on for a year. And as far as Instagram, I have a handle, but I barely trying to figure out Facebook, much less Instagram. So I apologize.
I can say maybe you need to sit with Shah for some time, and Shah
Yeah,
will give
I
you
know.
some tips of social media.
Well, Shaw's running 3 or 4 phones at once. He's got to be. He has
Shah? Did you listen what he say? He going to have
to
some class with you.
be. It might need the light. All right.
Okay, so okay, and a
Yep.
shot. Philip, yes, shot. Okay, Mike, everybody wants shots from you.
Shots. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Fortaleza. Still straight.
Oh wow, you see the guys. You see the personal collection of tequila over here.
Okay. So we have some Fortaleza.
Wow, and some smoky mezcal.
And there's our first
Yeah,
shot.
baby. Here you go, Philip. The first shot down. Okay. Okay, so Michael, I'm just telling everybody like how you used to be the cop behind the police uniform in the
Right.
New Jersey, and then you moved to South Thailand, and now you are like one of the agave lover, and everybody know you in the whole Southeast Asia because the way you're learning the things.
Right.
So
Yeah.
can you share your experience about the agave, like how you come up with this agave, the whole agave things, and now how come you just stuck over there to be an agave lover?
Well, I really got lucky in that I had gone and done a guest shift over in Yangon and at Jen Queen's place, Gecko, and I met her and realized she was really big into mezcal. I'd spent a lot of time down in Mexico, spent a lot of time in San Francisco working at a place called Tres Agaves, really on the ground floor of the tequila and the mezcal industry. And I asked her for a book, if she could recommend a book for me. And she said, "Hey, I've got something better for you. There's a bartender work program down in Mexico that you can apply to, and you basically go down and work for an entire week or 8 days of every aspect of the making tequila is what it was for." So I applied. One thing led to another. I got accepted. One out of 20 people are accepted a year, and I got accepted and went in August and spent about 3 weeks in Mexico, 8 days of that truly working, making tequila from, like I discussed earlier today, from out in the fields cutting agave at 5 in the morning to the final day actually putting the labels on the bottles and making the actual toppers and filling the bottles. We did every aspect of it, a full shift working alongside with everybody else. So once I did that, I really fell in love with the spirit and Mexico itself, which I've always enjoyed, and it sort of led to that. And they apparently liked me down in Mexico. Must be that Bangkok flair, and they invited me to come to London with them to help teach a couple classes during the World's 50 Best. And then from there we went to Berlin, and they asked me to help them with doing promotional work for Fortaleza at BCB. And then I was just there in 3 weeks this past February. I made it back, just barely made it back before quarantine really started.
But like this is your first trip of Mexico the last year, if I'm not wrong, and after that your whole journey started, right?
Yeah, so it's only been it's not even been a year yet, but I just fell in love
Yes.
with the whole agave world and everybody that's involved in it. It's something truly special coming out of Mexico with this. It's not even a spirit; it's a cultural thing.
Okay, like Michael, before you join, I actually shared with everybody like how many type of different agave spirit are distilled in Mexico. Do you want to give a small brief to our everybody, like which other spirits apart from tequila are distilled in the Mexico City, or you can say the city of Tequila?
The biggest ones that I'm affiliated with now is mostly tequila. I've been doing a lot of work in tequila. I will be in Oaxaca in hopefully in October, the end of October, for about 3 weeks. I'll spend some time in tequila and in Oaxaca learning more about mezcal. I don't have a big education in mezcal. Most recently, I was just in Mexico for 3 weeks, and one of those weeks I spent learning about raicilla. So
Uh-huh.
raicilla is sort of like mezcal, except that it's not allowed to be called mezcal based on the laws of the CRT in Mexico, which designate certain states are allowed to call certain types of spirits those spirits. So for tequila, you're only 5 states can actually make an agave spirit from Blue Weber agave and call it tequila. So what we did was we were working with the raicilla producers, and raicilla is mostly made in Jalisco. Jalisco is a state in Mexico. Inside of Jalisco is the town of Tequila, where about half the tequila is actually made. The other half is made up in Los Altos, which is the highlands of Mexico, still within the state of Jalisco. So there's still other agaves. Everybody thinks Jalisco is all tequila, but there's actually other agave spirits being produced in tequila in Jalisco, and that is one of those is raicilla. So raicilla is very similar to a tequila or a mezcal, except it's not made with the blue Weber agave. It's made with different other agaves. The popular one is the Maximilian agave. So it's an agave that takes almost 30 years to mature, different than the blue Weber agave, which matures in 6 to 8 years. So the Maximilian agave takes about 30 years before it can mature. It is then cooked basically the exact same way a tequila or a mezcal is made. A lot of the raicilla that we were consuming was baked in a oven, and then it was put into the distillation, which is usually actually like earthen stills and wooden stills with copper tubing, very unique stuff for what you normally expect to see at a distillery.
Okay. So like this is like I'm really like I still remember the first time when I'm talking to you after your trip from Mexico last year, and you explained me the whole thing, and I'm like, oh, dude, I want to go for that. And that actually the very impressive part that they only select like this particular brand Fortaleza. They only select 2% for each batch. Am I right? And they have total 10 trips in a year.
For the bartender work program, they do a program. It's Fortaleza tequila, Don Fulano tequila, and Arete tequila. They're all three families in the city of tequila. Some of the oldest producers of tequila, and it's like all craft. Everything's done by hand, and so they put together a program to try and get the bartenders, which ultimately are your best marketers for your spirit, trying to get them in there and really learn how tequila is made and sort of how to market it or sell it based on your experiences. So it's one thing to talk about a rum brand, but if you've never been to Jamaica or if you've never been to the distillery where it's made or actually spent time making it, you're really only just reading off of a PowerPoint. What Fortaleza and Don Fulano and Arete do is they bring the bartenders in and they really truly get them to work and learn about the spirit and how it's made. They also do another. They do that. So they do that program is only 10 times a year, and it's only 2 people a session. So I got blessed that I was selected to go and represent Thailand for the first time ever. And I spent, it was just me and a bartender from the Standard in Los Angeles. And we lived together, spent, 8 days together working in the fields and bottling and doing everything. So they also host another thing. That's a big commitment for most bartenders to fly to Mexico and spend about 2 weeks down there. They also hold what's called an industry tour, which is a shortened version of what I did, where you actually get to go to the field. You get to help make tequila, not for a full day, but for a couple of hours. And they hold that about 3 times a year. And that's on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So most people in the industry can get down there and do it. And the best thing about these programs is that they're all paid for by the company. So all they tell you is show up in Guadalajara Airport at Sunday morning at 7 a.m. and everything else is taken care of. So it's a great program. I don't believe there's really any other spirits out there that are doing anything like it.
Wow. So I think this is because they are like the crafted. They do their own crafted products, as you mentioned, and they are the small manufacturer. Am I right?
Yes, small manufacturers. About Fortaleza puts out about 5,000 liters a week, if that, not even.
Wow.
750 bottles. Yeah, about 5,000 bottles at 750. Not a lot. Arete probably does around the same, maybe a little bit more because they have a bigger line, and the Don Fulano definitely does more. They're a bigger operation, but they're small. They're all small, still considered craft distillers, with the true name of craft, where stuff is still being made by hand.
Okay, that's good. Michael, one thing I want to ask you: why everybody say that you are like one of the Like you can say right now, and like you can, I think you remember from last 2 months, everybody saying that, oh, you are the godfather of Bangkok bar industry. How come?
Oh no, Shah's the Godfather. Shah
Shah,
is the
Shah.
Godfather.
Good.
You know what it is? It's funny. Some people that are listening can attribute in the northern New Jersey tri-state area, which is in New York City. So I grew up 25, 30 minutes outside of New York City in New
Uh-huh.
Jersey. And if you've ever watched The Sopranos on HBO, one of the best shows ever, I'm telling you, it's all real. Everything that was said, every scene, every line really epitomized and showed northern New Jersey. So when you see that, and then you watch a Jersey Shore, and like I know all of these people, but this is the way I grew up. And I probably say for Bangkok, I don't think they've actually seen somebody in the bartending scene that is, from New Jersey and can talk for a really long time.
So, like, remember, like when we are talking, like just a couple of days before, when we are talking. So, what is the biggest thing, biggest change, or you can say biggest difference you see in the bar industry or beverage industry in the USA and Thailand?
One of the big issues that I saw with New Jersey, and I've explained this a couple of times to some people, and they're shocked by what I tell them, is that in New Jersey, your liquor licenses for consumption, for owning a bar, are based upon population of the city or town that you want to work in, that you want to own your place in. So we discussed it earlier. The location that I worked at was a bar in Wayne, New Jersey. Like I said, about 25 minutes outside of New York City. The residency was about 125,000 people.
Okay,
Of that, you're allowed one liquor license for every 3,500 people.
35. Wow.
Yeah. So for actual consumption of a bar, there was only about 40 to 50 uh, actual liquor licenses for the town. So when in the late 1960s, when the ABC
Hello, Mike.
control, yeah, back in the 1960s, when the alcohol beverage control came out, they said we're going to give one liquor license to every 3,500 residents for the state.
Okay.
So at that time, a liquor license cost about 25 US dollars, maybe 1,000 baht. So right now, they only issue a certain amount of liquor licenses. So when you buy a liquor license, you own it, and it's your decision whether to sell it, not the state's decision whether to sell it. So as economies flourish and everything, and population and people move into nicer towns, your liquor license can become more valuable as it goes on. So in 2004, my best friend bought a restaurant in Wayne where I was bartending at with him. He bought it, and his liquor license alone was 420,000 US dollars. So that's about 13 million baht just for the
Wow.
liquor license, just for the piece of paper. And then he bought it at 10 a.m. in the morning, and at 4 p.m. he was now legally allowed to serve a beer. That's all it did. Nothing else happened. He didn't get anything with it, nothing. Just a piece of paper allowed him to serve a beer.
Just for
So,
the beer.
yeah, it's the most expensive beer somebody's ever drank.
But do he
So,
making money?
huh?
Do he making money?
Well, that's why you see drinks are expensive in New Jersey, because they have to make up for that liquor license. So
Okay.
one of the big issues was that we discussed between United States and or New York City, tri-state area, and Bangkok was the cost to open a bar. So if I wanted to open a bar in the New York City tri-state area, it's probably going to cost me 1 million US for the liquor license in the area, in a good area, between the liquor licenses, the real estate, renovations, all that. You're probably looking at 1 million US.
Wow. It's
Which
not like Thailand.
Yeah, it's not like Thailand, trust me. So what you're seeing is the only people that can afford these type of to open a bar anymore are basically the large corporations. Sadly, is the large corporations. The idea of a bartender opening his own bar in the northern New Jersey tri-state area is not happening. It's all TGIFs, the Charlie places, all that type of stuff. It's all corporate places that are buying these liquor licenses because the liquor licenses are they're in supply and demand.
Okay, like that's interesting because like as I hope you know now in the Thailand, if you need a liquor license to sell beer or to sell tobacco or to sell anything, all the license you can get like easily below 10,000 baht, which is like hardly $300.
Yeah, it's not like that. But you also anybody can buy one. So
Yes.
we discussed today, it sort of balances itself out. So I spent $500,000 US on a liquor license in New Jersey. I know for a fact I only have 46 competitors, and I could only ever have 46 competitors.
Yes,
As
that's also
opposed
true.
to a liquor license here costs you 3,000 baht, and you have, like we discussed today, tens of thousands of competitors.
Yeah, the endless number of bars.
Yeah.
That's good. Mike, like tell me one thing, like after joining. Hey, Jay Khan is here. Jay Khan in the house. Hey,
Okay,
Jay.
God.
We're just talking about you. Okay, so like as like if what do you like? Do you think any change in your lifestyle or life after leaving the cop job and being a agave lover?
No, because you know what, my cop job, like we discussed earlier today, my cop job was talking to people,
Uh
and
huh.
that's why I was a good bartender. Because my whole police job, I did 25 years of police work, and of that, 20 of those years were all detective work. I worked 5
Okay.
years undercover, and the rest was all detective. So every day I would interview people and talk to people. They paid me a lot of money to talk to people all day long. So when I started bartending in 2011, I was so used to engaging people and conversing with them. Plus, I had worked in on my days off from the police work, I worked in the hospitality industry, whether it was nightclubs or bars or restaurants. So I was used to it. And then I was like the best bartender you could have in New Jersey because I sort of knew my stuff with my drinks, number one. And number two, I could probably tell you how to beat a traffic ticket if you had a question about it.
Cool. Okay, Michael, the Jay is still in the house. I just remember your picture with Jay when you got the bottle of tequila for him from Mexico, and Jay has such a big smile on his face. Do you want to share something about that story?
Oh, well, it was great. Jay had invited me to come up to Koa in Hong Kong, and I was enamored to go. I had met him here in Bangkok when he had come to do a master class,
At the
and
scene bar.
yeah, yes, and I got introduced as Bangkok's expert. And I'm like, oh no, I'm still a student. I'm here in front of an expert. So it's great to meet Jay. And then I was up in Hong Kong to visit him prior to going to Mexico for my first time, and he gave me a really good education at Koa one night prior to me going to Mexico. So it was great because when I ended up in Tequila, I actually knew more than when I got on the plane in Bangkok. And then on the way back, I was able to bring some uh, difficult to receive items up to Hong Kong to Jay. So I definitely bought him some stuff that he was missing because, like we discussed today, a lot of the issues with Asia and tequila is the difficulty to get quality tequila into
Uh-huh.
Southeast Asia because most importantly, it's so far away. I mean, it's literally on the other side of the world from where it's made. So you have lots of issues with shipping and customs, and that brings the price up, which then scares off some of your consumers. So it makes if the consumers aren't buying it, then you're not going to buy it to put into your bar if it's not selling because of the price. So one of the big things we want to try and do is get a direct line from Mexico to Southeast Asia to try and keep the cost down as opposed to going through Europe, which is the way a lot of it does right now. And then the other thing is to just get a good education to the Asian community, drinking community of tequila. We all know what we remember of it. Shots in little plastic, gold shots in little plastic cups, and then a really, really bad hangover the next day. So what we need to do as agave lovers is try and educate our consumers as to there is that thing called tequila, but I'm going to give you something that you will love, and we were not going to shot it, and you're not going to have a hangover the next day.
And this is the good thing, like what I learned about the Jay Khan. Okay, I still remember I met Jay Khan just one time, and what I impressed, or you say, I really impressed with his style, that he's so humble and he give you the whole detail about the product, what he have. And I think that's the reason he's the bartender, Asia 50
Oh,
best.
absolutely. And he has so much knowledge behind all the brands. Like I said, I think I'm sort of good on several brands that I've been and literally been in their distillery, and I have a pretty good talking knowledge. But then you talk to Jay, and he knows every single brand.
Everything.
Amazing. Amazing.
Jay, we just want to say, like, right now, like, behalf of the whole Bangkok bartender community, congratulations, and hope we're going to see you soon once the entire pandemic over, and we're going to visit COA real soon. Mike, what do you say? We go together?
Oh, yes, I'm ready to go up to Hong Kong and go to COA. Absolutely.
Okay, so you have two visitors already confirmed, and hope you can accommodate us. Okay, Mike. Like one thing I want to ask you, like I'm not sure, like it's very important or it's just to asking for the curiosity. Actually, many people already asked Jay Khan also about this topic. What do you see the future of agave industry or agave spirits in the Asian market? Because Asian market is more about drinking neat or having cocktails like the class, not even the classic, but the crafted cocktail. So what do you think about this industry?
Well, I think for the agave, I think we almost have to get it. We have to. The biggest thing is the education of the
Mm-hmm.
consumer, which ultimately goes through the bartender, because I can only reach so many consumers in an educational session, but I can reach X amount of bartenders, and then they can push it on to the consumer. The biggest thing that I think is that you have to look at tequila and agave spirits not as something that you would do a shot of course, and not even so much something that you would or think beyond the cocktail, because a good tequila, good quality tequila, is a sipping type spirit, much like a whiskey or a bourbon, and that's the way I think it should be pushed out to the consumers, because they're just so used to the Jose Cuervo plastic cup shots. And the biggest thing is education, and that comes from you can only learn so much online. And I don't get me wrong, I love online learning, but you can only learn so much. You really need to go and see how things, and physically feel how things are made, and then you can really express it to your consumers.
I think this is what you did. You went through the whole all the way Mexico. You learn everything, and now you can actually talk about the whole process, how the things go, and what the
Yeah,
product actually is. Right?
yeah. Yeah, once you're
Okay.
there and you're like really physically doing some of the labor of lifting these, you know, 50-kilo agaves, lifting them up after cutting them all morning long, and putting the labor, and you start to realize the love that goes into the making of tequila. The humidors that are out there every day, day in, family from grandfather to son to grandfather to father to son, out there working the same field, doing the same laborious job, difficult job, day in, day out, in the heat. And then when you are able to do that alongside of them, and then 8 days later, you're basically tasting the work that you did when it directly when it came out of the still and goes into the bottle at Fortaleza still strength. You really start to appreciate all the labor and the love of the Mexican culture that goes into tequila.
That's nice. But like, okay, what do you think? Like, how you compare a commercial tequila and a crafted tequila? How actually you compare? Like, apart from the taste, yes, taste of course. But what other things you see between a
For
crafted and
between the
a
craft and
commercial,
the craft and the
commercial and the
commercial.
crafted? Yes.
Oh, you know what it is, and you'll realize it once you start really doing a lot of tasting. And again, once you really go to Mexico and do a program like I did, where you're just surrounded by tequila all day long. At Fortaleza, there's no computers anywhere.
Okay.
They can tell when there's no computers anywhere in the distillery at all. The way that the decision to make the cut for the heads and the tails from the second distill is literally by the distiller, who's a recovering alcoholic who will not taste it like that. He will literally put a little bit of fresh distilled alcohol in his hands and smell it. And he can then decide after 45 years of distilling when to cut the heads out. And then
Wow.
when to let the tequila run, and then when to cut the tails. And that's the type of stuff that you don't see with the commercial distillers, just because they're putting out such a huge amount of volume that they can't do that. And like I said, what I recommend, there's about between 42 and 43 active distilleries there are 45 registered distilleries inside the town of Tequila. There's about 26 that are active, 23 to 26 that are actively making tequila. 40 something have licenses, but actually only about 20 plus are making tequila. And there are some big ones there. Sal's is there. Jose Cuervo is there. Herradura is about 15, 20 minutes outside of Tequila. And I recommend that everybody go to those distilleries and see how they make the tequila. And then go to one of the smaller distilleries and see how they make the tequila. And then you will be having so many tastings during your time in tequila. You will learn what good quality, properly made tequila is.
So it's like once, like if anybody going there, and so the visit for any distillery, it's very easy to go, or it take time.
I'm sorry,
Like you
say
need to
again.
take you need to take a prior permission before going for any distillery.
Well, a lot of the small ones, the big ones have paid distillery tours where they go every hour on the hour. The smaller brand distilleries like Fortaleza, Don Fulano Arete, Casa Win, those distilleries, you can just send an email and they'll set you up and they will give you like a personal tour. They're not paid.
Wow.
They're not paid. It's not part of their bottom line as Jose Cuervo and Salza, where they're making money off of the distillery tour. These smaller distilleries just want to show their product and show how they make the product and the lengths that they go to make a good quality tequila.
Cool. Okay, that's nice to hear, Mike. Mike, like before we finish our talk, I just want to ask you: do you want to share something with like anyone who get inspired from you, or who you actually? I just want to ask: do you want to say something to everyone in this situation? What's happening in the world right now?
Oh, well, we discussed it today. One of the biggest things is, I'm going to say this because you're probably not going to have. I'm almost, I'm 47 years old, and I've been in the bartending of the hospitality industry since the 80s and the policing industry since the 90s. So I actually can talk about them. You're never going to get an opportunity like you have right now. As bad as it is that nobody's working in the bar industry, in the hospitality, restaurant industry, nobody's working, but you're never in your life going to have the ability to do what you want. It may be limited, but you can still do what you want. You're forced not to work right now, and that's never going to happen again. As long as until you die, you're always going to have to work. Take the opportunity now, and either learn a new hobby, spend time on a passion that you have, get yourself healthy, especially all of us in the bar industry, in the terrible lifestyle that we're forced to live with bartending till 3 in the morning and the poor health choices that we make. Take the time now and sort of get yourself into a healthy routine and see if you can replicate it once we get back to where we're supposed to be with everybody drinking at bar.
Thank you very much, Mike. It's really nice talking to you, and
Good
hope we're
talking
going
to
to
you.
going to see you soon, and we need to go together to COA to have some
Yes.
mezcal drink with Jay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody,
Yeah.
to join us for this agave talk. And if you have any more question about the agave or agave related thing, you can directly message to Mike, and or you can message me to ask. And also, like, the best thing I can say, you can ask Jay Khan. He's going to help you out, and he will be really happy to share his knowledge with you.
That's great.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mike. Hope to
Thank
see you
you.
soon.
Goodbye.
Thank you.